You know, you heard that? So don't say anything crazy. And I'll take that into consideration for myself. So good afternoon, everybody. We had a little sunshine earlier. We're getting a little overcast now, but I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Shamar Heron. I am the Deputy Director of Michigan Works Southeast. We are your workforce development agency. And what Workforce does is make sure that you are prepared to not only go to work, but stay employed, not in just a job, but in a career. So it's one thing you can work at Kroger, the gas station, the bowling alley, all of that fun stuff, and just work your way through life with a job. However, it's different when you start to prepare yourself for a career. And so that is what Michigan Works likes to ensure you do. This program has changed a lot. And anybody want to take a guess why we're not meeting in person?
The coronavirus?
You are smarter than I even thought, Jordan. Thank you. So COVID-19 has changed how we're doing things. We absolutely have to step up our virtual world, and that's why you're here now. So I don't want you to look at this as though, yeah, they're just letting anybody in. Last year, we had over 100 young people. This year, we're tapping out at just around 50. So you are a very special select group of young people, and we're going to expect you to participate, engage, and be visible as much as possible. So my call out is, if you can turn your video on, I'm asking you to turn your video on. We need to be able to see you. We need to know that you're engaged. We know sometimes folks can cut the video on and then go get on the game, or they can go do whatever, but we need you engaged right now continually. I promise I won't judge your background. Even if you have a cow in the background, or you have, your wall may not be what some people think it should be. I'm here to help share information. So I'm glad, and I'm very thankful for all of you that turned your video on. We almost got 100%. Wow, that's fascinating. But before we move on, I want to introduce some of the people who have worked very hard for almost a year to prepare this program. And so the way we do it in my organization is, again, I introduced myself. My name's Shamar. I'm with Michigan Works, but we have a ton of partners who are able to help us out. And so I want to call on a few of them to introduce themselves so you know who the people are that you're working with. So I'm going to switch it up this time, and I'm going to go with the one who will not stop emailing and texting you. Lexi, let them know who you are and what you're all about and why you keep bugging them.
That is me. You're getting a ton of emails from me. For that, I am sorry, but I will not stop. So look forward to more.
He's not that sorry.
That's true. It's my job. I get paid for it, so it's okay. I am your event coordinator, and I am a success coach, so I will look forward to getting to know you all more and working with you throughout the summer. I'll call on another one who's been contacting you lately, Dave.
Hey folks, I'm Dave. I'm also a success coach, and I'm the professional development coordinator. Just really looking forward to getting to know all of you this summer and working with you. I'll kick it over to our last of the three success coaches, Drew.
Hey guys, this is Drew again. I'm the employer liaison, also a success coach. Very much looking forward to getting to know everybody better throughout the summer. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Dallas.
Hey, I'm Dallas. I work at Michigan Works. Been there about 5 years. And this is, I believe, my 5th summer initiative. So I know there's a lot of new faces. You all might not know who I am, but you'll get to know me. And I'm going to pass it to Letitia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Letitia Sharp, and I'm with Washtenaw County. I'm a human resource manager, and I look forward to working with you all. I'm going to pass it over to Jordan.
Hey y'all, I'm Jordan. I have not been around.
Jordan, your
quite-
house is on fire.
Yes, so if y'all wanted, you are strongly encouraged to change your background to something fun, but keep it appropriate. Yeah, this is fine. This is what working from home has been like. I'm on like day, I don't even know, 71. But yeah, I'm the program manager for SummerWorks. I have not been around quite as long as Dallas, but this is my 4th summer. So I know some of y'all, and I'm looking forward to getting to know the rest of you. And I will pass it over to Peg.
Hello, everyone. I'm Peg Windsor. I'm with Michigan Works Southeast, and I am a business services coordinator. And I work with the businesses that hopefully you'll be able to get some virtual positions and or some mentoring. So, you know, the businesses contact me when things are going great and when they're not going so great. So I'm looking forward to this year, and this is going to set quite the record. And I will choose Zoe.
Thanks, Peg. Hey, everybody. I'm Zoe. I am the program coordinator for SummerWorks. I started out as a success coach last summer, so I also recognize some familiar faces, but I am also excited to get to know all of y'all. And I am the one that Shamar was calling out with the stuffed cow because I'm working in my roommate's room. But just to quote a very wise Shamar, if you think that the virtual background might make your grandma upset, don't use it. So that's our general guideline for the virtual backgrounds. And I think we are ready to go ahead and get started. So it's all you, Shamar.
Yay. Who's having a good day? Is it Miss Martin? How's your day going? Quickly.
There's
You're
2
on-
of us.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Are you in the same room? Oh my. There's double ups. The James family versus the Martin family on The Price is Wrong. Let's get going. Good to see you all. You had your chance to speak, and now I've learned you guys are splitting up your space, and I've been yelled at and reprimanded quite profusely for getting off track. So I'm not going to do it. But I am going to talk to you all because I don't care what they say. I do what I want. Yeah. Anyway, so again, I need you to know a couple major points about what we're going to do. We have these sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, they run approximately from 6 to 7:30, and on Thursdays, they run from about 1 to 2:30. We're going to keep those times that way so that if you can't make Tuesday, we need you to make Thursday. If you can't make either one and you don't tell us about it, no love lost, but we'll holler at you next year. We need you to be in communication with us. No different than if you were in a physical work environment or even in this virtual world, you need to be letting your employer know and communicating if you're having an issue. Here's the thing. Most employers and businesses understand that sugar, honey, iced tea happens. Stuff happens, okay? We get it. But what we need you to do is be letting people know, hey, something's come up, I can't make it. How do I get in on the next session? So keep that in mind. There's not a ton of important updates other than be ready because I'm going to be calling on you and you might not be expecting it. We used to be able to do this where I'd walk right next to you and you know I'm getting ready to call on you. Well, guess what? We're in a virtual world and I'm going to be looking at names and faces. And if I see you on the game or you're enjoying your bag of hot Cheetos a little bit too much, that's probably when I'm going to call on you. So Brandon Jones, I see you over there. Smile. There you go. Yeah. All right. All right. So here we go. Let's talk about a couple things here. You see this nice shirt I have on? I didn't have this on 20 minutes ago. I had a t-shirt on, but I know that I have to present professionalism in a certain way. I could have put a sports coat on or a suit jacket or even a full suit on, but you also have to be appropriate, and that's part of professionalism. If I was going to work out at the golf course, I probably wouldn't dress like this. If I was going to be in a marketing or an accounting or PR firm, I might put a sports coat on unless they've told me don't wear that. So one of the things you'll always want to do as you prepare to go to work is, once you know you've got the job and they say, do you have any questions for us? You can easily say, yes. How should I dress? That's part of professionalism, is understanding how you should maneuver in your workspace. We're going to get into work culture and what attire looks like. So we will move on. So one of the things you need to be able to do is dress, communicate, and interact in a professional environment, right? So professional can be on site in an actual physical setting, or it can be virtually. So you don't want to have Snoop Dogg and all of the fun stuff he does in the background. You don't want to have music playing. You don't want to be dribbling a basketball or playing the game or doing your hair or got your wrap on or whatever. You want to make sure that you are presenting yourself in the most professional way possible, whether you're virtual or on site. You want to communicate in a virtual environment. That's what we're doing right now. If you notice, I'm not laid back. I'm not giving you a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean? I be out here. That's what I be doing. You need to articulate yourself. Someone who's participated in the past. I know there's articulation. Anybody got another one?
Enunciation.
Close. Articulation. Intonation.
Connection and pitch.
Pitch. Thank you, Miss Wynn. So pitch is you sometimes have to speak up. Intonation is, let me see a thumbs up if anybody's ever told you to watch your tone. Watch your tone you're using with me, young person. Oh, yeah. Some of y'all lying. Some of y'all ain't put your thumbs up, and I know for a fact you've been, watch your tone. And then articulation is using your words. You know, there's billions of words that you can use. You need to put them together and speak clearly. And then we're going to help you write a professional summary today, or at least start it. And then we're going to go through the process of making sure that it shows the best message about who you are fully. So those are the three things we're hoping you're going to get out of today. I'm going to breeze through some of this because you look like a smart group. I'm not going to hit every single point. Let me see a thumbs up if you believe you're a pretty intelligent person and can read these slides yourself. All right, let me see. We got a few folks who aren't saying anything, but now I'm going to read everything because of the people who didn't put their thumbs up. Just kidding. So be fully dressed and appropriate. You don't want to have your undershirt on, putting your shirt on as you're getting ready for your virtual engagement. You need to be fully dressed, ready to go at least 5 to 10 minutes before your engagement starts, whether it's your actual employment or your mock interview or your mentorship opportunity. Some people used to call them wife beaters. I don't like that term. So what I prefer to call them is your undergarments. Make sure you have something professional on. If you can put a collared shirt on, if you have one, I ask that you do that for our young men. For our young ladies, nothing with too much of a low drift. You always want to maintain your professional perception. So again, what you got going on in the background can be seen by everybody. You don't want to be munching on a big, huge cheeseburger while you're talking to people. I prefer, and you should, eat well before you get onto your call, or have it set up where you can eat right after. Right now, we're learning and in a learning environment, so it's not that big of a deal. But when we get to the real meetings, you want to be careful of that. Part of dressing the right way, you create boundaries. So you show, hey, even though I'm a young adult, I'm still to be respected. And put your hand up if you don't want any respect. If you just want people to completely disrespect you, let me see those hands go up. Oh, well, see, I knew you guys were smart, man. You guys are smarter than you look here. You're making me feel so special. The difference between telecommuting and in-person is there's a lot of body language. So I can roll my eyes on here and you might not see it. But when you're in a one-on-one in-person setting, rolling your eyes, you probably can see it. That doesn't have much to do with attire, but it does allow people to start to guess and gauge who you are. You always want to dress for success. So you want to dress up and be told to dress down. You never want to dress down and be told to dress up. So some of these things I'm going to tell you, you should probably write down. So if you don't have a pen and paper or a laptop or your phone that you're writing notes on, you should grab something really quickly, because we're going to drop some jewels on you. We're going to give you some gems. Make sure you're paying attention to what we're saying. Again, you always want to be able to dress up and be told to dress down, not dress down and be told, hey, jeans with holes is not acceptable here. A t-shirt that says beast mode on it is not acceptable here. That is not the way we do things. So you want to be told, hey, you can unbutton this top button like I just did, because I'm not that stuffy. Anyway, there's 3 types of dress. There's professional dress, business casual, campus casual. Professional is shirt, tie, blazer. For our young ladies, a pantsuit. Business casual is a shirt with a collar. It can be buttoned up to the top, or you can have one button open. We don't want to get into the whole none of this. No, that's not what we're doing here. We want to stay uber professional. No matter we're casual, professional, or even campus casual, where you can wear jeans or, you know, maybe certain shorts. I've got a daughter, and her and I argue about this all the time. I'm not going to get into that. What's the next slide? It's a lot of words, Who's willing to read this for me? Just the top bullet, only the top bullet. Anybody want to read this?
I'll read it.
Who is that?
Tiaja.
How the heck are
No,
you?
isn't working, guys.
Let's go. Let me hear you.
Attendance in the workplace. Regular attendance and punctuality are vital attributes for all employees. It is important for employees to attend work regularly and to arrive at work on time, because failure to do so detrimentally affects employee morality and productivity.
And so thank you, Tiaja, Miss Wynn. Thank you. What it's basically saying is, when you don't show up to work, others suffer. When you're late, other people suffer. So if it takes 4 people to do a job and you're one of 4 and you don't show up, all sorts of problems arise from that. Whether it's that the work takes longer than it should, somebody gets injured because they're working harder than what they need to make sure that the job gets done. One that we don't talk about is animosity. You ever heard somebody throw shade like, oh, look who decided to show up to work today? Oh, wow, thanks for joining us. Those are passive aggressive ways of people saying, I don't appreciate when you don't show up or when you show up late. So FYI, you don't want to be the one at work that people are having a lot of negative comments about. So get your parts to work when you're working physically or virtually, because part of teamwork is being there and showing up. Emotional intelligence and attendance. Emotional intelligence, otherwise known as emotional quotient or EQ. I went to Ohio State, so I'm not the smartest in the room, but what the heck is an emotional quotient? Man, you guys are really doing me in over here. It's the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions, in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So what that's basically saying is you bring your whole self to work. You, who you are, that whole thing of check your home life at the door when you come to work, that's really hard to do. My dad passed in 2017, and there were times where I had to shed a few tears in the workspace. Now, if I had a colleague come up to me and say, "You too grown to be crying," that's showing a lack of emotional intelligence. We absolutely have to hold ourselves together while we're at work, but we have to know that others have lives outside of work and that they're going through things as well. So emotional intelligence is your ability to be able to size a situation up. You say good morning to everybody. That doesn't mean you have to have a full conversation with them, but you do want to speak and say, "Hi, Letitia, good morning. Hi, Jordan, good morning. Good morning, Lexi." That doesn't mean you say, "Hey, Dallas, what happened last night? How was your night?" Like, no, you pick your certain people that you have that relationship with, but you certainly don't do it for everybody, or else you're not going to get any work done. And you might be on the outside looking in at that point. Speaking of relationships, I say there's plenty of fish in the sea. One of the places you probably don't want to start a relationship is at work, just because it becomes really hard to separate. And it could get you in a spot where you don't want to be. So yes, there are all sorts of folks at work, and some we may be attracted to, but Shamar personally chooses to stay away from any sort of relationships at work that are not professional in its setting. So self-management, self-awareness, social awareness. One of those social awareness things is, let's say you're in a physical setting and they're going to treat for lunch and you love Jimmy John's, and then they bring in Jimmy John's. It's not your job to eat up all of the Jimmy John's. It is not your job to eat up all of the chips in the snack room or even eat food that doesn't belong to you. That's a lack of social awareness. You want to be able to know that other people have needs and want to be able to eat as well in that scenario, or you don't want to fall asleep at your desk. That's not being socially aware, and it's not good self-management. Next slide. The fun stuff. So, there's two ways of communicating. Anybody want to take a guess on one?
With your body.
Body language. Good job, Jordan. You say a lot about yourself and what you think of the conversation by the way you hold your body. And I'm sure a lot of people have been talked to, or you've had to talk to somebody like, "Yo, are you even paying attention?" Because I'm talking to you all and I see some videos and you all are like, that body language is telling me you're probably not interested in what I'm saying, even though we've taken time out of our day to make sure you're prepared. The other way is verbal, like we're doing now. So that's where that articulation, intonation, and pitch comes in. I'm going to say it again. Articulation, intonation, pitch. They come into play in how you communicate verbally with everybody. If you have a pet, if you say, oh, Fluffy, you're so cute, they behave one way. We say, Fluffy, no. They react a different way. Anybody got a pet named Fluffy? Let me see your hands up. No Fluffies? Dallas has a pet named Fluffy. We won't get into that right now. Why is communication so important in the workplace? It avoids confusion. If you speak clearly, you're paying attention, and you're giving eye contact, there's no misinterpreting that. It provides purpose. If I need you to get something done and I tell you to do it, I've given you the purpose by which I need you to act today. It builds a positive company culture, and you can hold yourself accountable because you can say, hey, Shamar, you told me you needed this PowerPoint by tomorrow. I have it almost ready, and I can guarantee you it will be ready by tomorrow. So it gives accountability. So speak up, speak often, and speak clearly. This is a hard one. Who likes receiving feedback? Give me a thumbs up using your reaction. Lexi's going to get into how you use Zoom a little bit more, but if you know how to use, look at all of these fantastic folks. Let me see a physical thumbs up if you don't know how to use reactions. Yeah, now we're cooking with real hot fire. So receiving feedback. Who likes to receive critiques or criticism or feedback that isn't telling you how great you are? Jordan, you like to be told when you did something wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, I do.
Okay, why?
Because in the moment it hurts, but I know that if you tell me that now, they care about you, so then you won't do it in the future.
So what I hear you saying, Jordan, is that just because someone gives you feedback that you don't like to hear now and it stings a little bit, they're not attacking you as a person. They're giving you feedback that you probably will need for the rest of your working career.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. You always want to ask questions. The best way to not get a job with me, if you ever interview with Shamar and I say, hey, you got any questions? And you say, nope, not really. I'm not going to hire you because I don't believe you're inquisitive. I don't believe you're thinking ahead. I don't even know if you're thinking, period. How do you go into a job and not know what time you're supposed to start? How do you go and get employment and you don't know how you should dress? How do you go work somewhere and you don't even know who your manager is going to be? So we're going to get into the questions you should ask during an interview, but always ask questions and be approachable. Like if somebody asks me something, I'm like, this guy, man, here we go again. Nobody's going to want to talk to me. Or they're certainly not going to want to ask questions or approach me about stuff. So you have to be mindful of how your body language and your responses to people approaching you are done. So I'm going to go quickly through workplace norms. They're spoken and unspoken. You don't always know a workplace norm, but if you see everybody else wearing a shirt and tie, chances are you should wear a shirt and tie. If you see everybody gathering at the water cooler and gossiping, you might want to get away from that. You don't need to be a part of that. So it takes you understanding what the norm is and know that you use your better judgment. And better judgment says you don't get caught up in workplace politics because it never works out well. But you also want to have a sense of ownership of who you are. So Shamar is always going to try and show up on time, speak up, and ask questions. And that creates a norm within the workplace because I'm looked at as a leader. But I also know that if I'm demeaning to people and I laugh at them when they ask questions, that will become a workplace norm. So I avoid that at all costs. Isn't that right, Hunter Rowland? You're muted. I got you. I got you. I'm not going to take up too much time, but just know I'm calling on you, Dora James and whoever that is sitting right next to you. Or if you're on your parents' phone and you're like, why are you calling me my mama's name? Just know I'm going to do it again. Miss Kimball, smile, sitting there. I see you. She's one of our second-year students. Group norms are a set of agreements about how team members will work with each other and how the group will work overall. These agreed upon behaviors allow the team to increase its collective team performance through healthy debate and clarity of purpose and roles. And it came from the Harvard Business Review, so you know it's got to be true, right? I can't remember if this one is me or not. Give me a thumbs up, Jordan. Is this one still me? Uh-oh, I think I'm passing it off to Miss Email and Text You herself. Miss LaChapa, let's go.
That is me. Just to reiterate, I'm Lexi, and we're going to go over communication techniques. All right, so this is teleconferencing. It's a general term to link people at 2 or more locations with electronics. Telephone meeting between 2 participants or more that involves technology. It's just basically a step up from a simple phone call, and it connects 2 or more people with the added technology. So like that's why we can see each other right now. It's really special, kind of emulates the same kind of feeling that we would get if we were in person, but I know it's not quite the same. Okay, so there's going to be some do's and don'ts of teleconferencing this summer. You do want to call in on time and from a quiet place. This is a good time to reiterate that you should utilize headphones to minimize background noise. You do want to introduce yourself and say your name before you speak, especially when we're placed in new breakout rooms like we will be later. You want to introduce yourself when you're called on. And also when you want to ask a question, that way we knew who we're talking to. You do want to prepare all necessary documents beforehand, like before you start talking to somebody over like a Zoom call. You're going to want to have like your resume in front of you. For example, if like you're in an interview, even if it's like a mock interview, you want to make sure you have all of your information right in front of you. All right, and then you do want to pay attention, actively listen, and participate. We're seeing that you're doing that right now with all your reactions and thumbs up, so good job. You do want to stick to the agenda. Feel free to ask us or ask whoever you're meeting with in the future that you review the agenda, or to ask if you can add something important to an agenda. And then you don't, so some don'ts that you don't want to do. You want to avoid using your phone or your laptop for things outside of program activities. So we don't want to see you on Facebook. And please don't eat while you're using the audio. We don't like the chompy noises in that microphone. All right. And then here's some funny Zoom or teleconferencing stories of things that went wrong. So this person just started talking to my cat in the middle of a 68-person Zoom meeting, and I wasn't muted. Send the meteor. Kind of embarrassing. Oops. First class of the day. Professor asks us to unmute our mics to make the classroom setting on Zoom more real. Now listening to lecture plus 2 people breathing heavily and 1 munching on chips loudly into the mic. Yeah, kind of like what I just said. We don't really want to hear you eating. Thank you though. All right, so here's some Zoom teleconferencing platforms like Zoom and Google Hangouts that you'll probably be using in the future, especially as we become more teleconferencing savvy. Okay, so Zoom, here's some pros. It has a free version, so you can use it with like your friends or your family. Easy screen sharing like we're doing right now. It's easy to record events and document participation, so we can see who's attended and for how long. See what you write in the chats, even if it says private next to it. And then check out what you respond to our polls. It's also easy to communicate non-verbally using our chats, reactions, and polling. If you want to look at the bottom, I think some of you said you were having issues with reactions. It should say reactions down at the bottom. You just move your little cursor and a little smiley face. So if you click that, and you could do a little clap or a thumbs up or something. So you could try that out if you want, whenever. And then also for Google Hangouts, here's some pros. It has free versions. You don't have to download any software, unlike Zoom, so it doesn't take up any room on your computer or your phone. And you can simply use it with a Google account. You can connect Hangouts Chat, which is just like a chatting function, and Hangouts Meet, which is like video conferencing. Also, easy screen sharing. It integrates all of the G Suite apps, so you can use your docs, your slides, your sheets, all in that one app. You can also animate conversations with images, GIFs, don't come at me because I say GIFs, and emojis. Some cons, you can't edit or delete chats, and sometimes you can miss notifications, but if you're up on top of checking out your notifications, it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, for email etiquette, you're going to want to use a professional email address. I recommend that you use an email address that clearly has your name in it. Like mine would be like lexilachapa@gmail.com. Also, you're going to want to insert your full name in your account profile. So it says email from Lexi LaChapa. Also use an appropriate photo of yourself. So preferably not something using like the dog filter on Snapchat or something similar, and just like a nice clear photo of you like shoulders up. When you send emails, you want to use a clear, simple subject line. You might have noticed subject lines from SummerWorks sends you, say like action requested, response requested, so it's really clear what you want to get out of the email. You also want to use professional salutations, so hello, dear, stuff like that. Use the person's first and last name. You can also include Ms., so MS, period, Mr., MR, period, and or doctor, like DR, period. But you want to make sure that you're using the proper gender pronouns for everybody that you email, and also the proper certifications, so whether or not they have like a medical degree or a PhD, because people are very proud of the things that they accomplish and who they are. Try to avoid using casual language in your emails, especially if you've not met this person yet. So you don't want to say, hey dude, like, let me know, blah, blah, blah. And when you end your emails, you're going to want to write sincerely or regards followed by your name. It's especially helpful. Please do this when we email you and you email us back, because sometimes you use a shared email address, like with your parents or something, and we don't know if we're talking to your parents or if we're talking to you. So please make sure you sign off using your name. Okay, and then for fonts, the default fonts are just fine. You'll also want to introduce yourself in the body of your email, saying like your full name, your job, or your student status. Like my name is Lexi LaChapa and I am a success coach with the SummerWorks program. Or my name is Lexi LaChapa and I am a student at da-da-da. Also, be concise when you write your emails, so only use the important details. Make sure you double check everything in your email. You might have noticed some of you got an email from me last week where I messed up a little bit and I said, we're having orientation tonight, when in fact it was the next day. So make sure you're not like me sometimes. Okay, and then for phone etiquette, you're going to want to immediately introduce yourself to whoever you're calling. State your name and then add who you're calling for, like employers if relevant. So I'm Lexi LaChapa and I am calling for Jordan Green. Speak clearly, listen, and take notes. Notes are especially helpful to keep track of what you're going to say, or if you have any questions on a phone call, Or if you want to leave a voicemail, use proper language at all times. Remain cheerful and appreciative of the person that you're calling. Their time is really important to them, and it should be important to you too. Ask before putting someone on hold or transferring a call. Be mindful of their time, once again. Be honest if you don't have the answer to a question, and then make it a point to find out for them or offer to refer them to someone who does know the answer. And then also be mindful of your volume. Sometimes we can talk really quietly and then no one can really hear you, or you can talk really loudly and they're trying to hold the phone away from their ear. So we want to avoid that and just like talk in a happy medium. You also want to check for and respond to voicemails. So this is similar to your emails. Just make sure you stay up on everybody's correspondences to you. Okay, we're going to be using Google Classroom this year for our summer youth employment deliverables. So it will be the main place for you to turn in the deliverables required to complete the program. We covered those in orientation. There will also be a reminder on the class site for what you're supposed to turn in once you get into the Google Classroom. It'll be a centralized hub for accessing resources. So the slides from today, from orientation, from future professional development, all of those will be in there. The key dates document will be in there. So you'll have all of those right at your fingertips. It'll be really easy to give and receive feedback on your deliverables. So for example, your executive summary documents, we're going to be leaving feedback left and right, just so we're all improving constantly. You might already be familiar with some of the tools or similar tools like Canvas or Blackboard. Most addresses and Google accounts work with Google Classroom, especially school accounts, but please let us know if you're unable to join the class now or after the session is over. And then we can go through a walkthrough of joining the class. So you can go into your browser right now. Oop, can we go back? And then type in classroom.google.com. So feel free to do that right now on like your laptop. We can also do it a little bit later too. So once you type that in and you click the little plus, oh yeah, you can click the link that Dave just dropped in the chat. If you click the little plus up in the right-hand corner and select join class, and then you would enter this code, which I'm sure Dave's gonna drop in the chat. There we go. All right, so it's G4ZQ4P5. So if you add that class code into the Google Classroom, it should be able to unlock it for you and you should be in. But please let us know a little bit later and we can help you through it if it's not working yet. Okay, and once we get in there, you'll see the stream as like the home page. And then we'll click on classwork to find the deliverables. And you'll click on each assignment to fill out the documents that you're supposed to turn in. And then you'll submit them and we'll provide feedback on almost all of your deliverables. So we can always improve. All right, and then that's me. We can cover it again a little bit later when you're in the breakout rooms, but now I'm going to turn it over to Dallas.
All righty, thank you. So folks, we're gonna go into a bit of a description and a little bit of practice of what the executive summary is all about. We're gonna take a slightly different approach with this one. You all will receive in just a moment a link to some sample, there it is. You all received a link to some sample executive summaries. Before we dig too deep, I would like you all to visit that link, please. So open the chat, click the link, and you'll see some examples there. I'm gonna give you a few moments to read through them. They're not terribly long at all. And I would like to have a bit of an open discussion once we, conclude reading it. And for those who didn't get a chance to click the link yet, it's also being shared in front of you. We have Miss Jane Doe here. Looks like she's into childcare. You see some of her key skills in education there. A little professional history. And as we go on to John Doe, looks like has a background in communications and marketing. We see his key skills in his education, as well as his professional history. So if you all read like me, I know you're not quite finished yet. So I'm going to give you a few more moments to finish up. Okay, I think that should be good enough so we could at least generate some conversation here. So can somebody, matter of fact, let me give you a little bit of background. This is company SummerWorks, and you all are hiring managers, okay? So of these two applicants, who would you hire? Tell me why, tell me what stands out. If you like a particular executive summary, kind of go into that for me. And of course, this is the part where I would like you all to kind of chime in. Folks.
Can you scroll down to the second one, Dallas? I wasn't able to skip the link.
Okay. So while you're looking through that, anyone else? Can somebody please volunteer before Shamar has to, start naming folks?
You know I'm getting ready to start. Jordan, don't even click it. Nope. Jordan has spoke 3 times today. We're looking for somebody new. Don't make me call on you in 3, 2, 1. Last name Lynn. How about you give us one of your ideas on, and there's no such thing as wrong. We're in a safe space. So if you say something, we'll acknowledge you accordingly and appropriately. So go ahead, Christina.
I would probably hire John Doe because he has more work experience. Like previously, he worked at WCC Barnes & Nobles and the Orchard Radio. So he's probably really good with talking people and public speaking as he listed in the key skills. So I would probably hire him more.
You'd be more apt. Thank you for the feedback. How about Addison? You look quite involved right there. Addison, I don't even know what your last name is. P-E-T-T. Petaway, let's go, sir.
All right. Let me take a look at this real quick. As far as key skills goes, I would say organization is probably a good key skill, but I don't think responsibility is really a skill. It's more of like a characteristic, like someone is responsible. So I don't know that I would put that as one of the key skills. Whereas with John, most of his just seem more useful and more specific, because I don't really know what responsibility is supposed to mean.
I like that. That's keen observation right there, Addison. Thank you. Hey, Jasmine Meads, let me ask you something. Is there something that stands out to you as to why John versus Jane's resume may be a little different?
I mean, I think it's kind of about the fact that for John's, he has he's talking about, strong background in communication, and he has a lot of stuff, but then on Jane's, she has stuff, but it's not technically relevant. It's not super important.
Okay. I challenge you on the salsa dance club though, right? We all got to have fancy feet. Hunter, we tried to talk to you earlier. Hunter, Roland, anything now? Are you able to jump? Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Looking between the two resumes, one thing I did notice was that John, under John Doe, they had the pronouns, the email, the number, and then also they had a LinkedIn account. Well, then Jane didn't. And then back to the key skills again, like previously said, John actually had tangible skills rather than just characteristics. And then, yeah, the coursework, John was supposed to be going for communications, which is why he listed Com 102, which is communications class. Well, then Jane, for relevant coursework, listed just like pre-calc, physics, and Spanish, which are all different subjects.
So a little disjointed. Thank you.
Yes.
Dallas, do you think there's one thing we want to make sure we point out between these two resumes, why one may seem way more professional and astute than the other?
Yes. So the main difference between these two is certainly the experience level, as a lot of you have come to realize, given that responsibility is one of the key skills and the experience is childcare, versus the other one being a little bit more technical with the communication and marketing. So that's the main difference. But both of these are acceptable because there is such a way that young people such as yourself who may not have all of the technical training could form an executive summary and a resume with just the things that you're passionate about, or coursework, or things you may help and assist with. So for hiring purposes, yes, we may want somebody with a little bit more savvy to them, but Jane is also, building her experiences. She's building her resume. She's taking some things that she does in her everyday life, or maybe her school life or home life now, given that this situation that we're in, and she's turning them into professional skills. So I'm going to kind of use that to
really quickly though, Dallas. I think Jane is still in high school and John is in post-secondary as well.
That is also correct.
That's gonna also determine why one looks a little bit more polished than the other, because they've just had a little bit more time to work on it.
Correct. Yeah. John has had the ability to, of course, gain that experience being post-high school, versus Jane graduating, I think, next year, 2020. Nope, sorry, 2 years. So with that being said, if we could pull up the, yes. Thank you much. So our executive summary, it's an overview of the main points of a larger report, often written to share with individuals who may not have time to review the material or the entire report. The reader should be able to make a decision based upon reading that executive summary, and it summarizes the key points. To kind of take that a step further, an executive summary provides an overview of the main points of a larger report. I've said that. It summarizes the key point, yes. It should share the purpose of a project, highlight major points, and describe a desired result. Just as your resume should be tailored for the job you're applying for, so should your executive summary. In fact, it's even more crucial to tailor this, since this is the one part that a recruiter is guaranteed to read. So just as you all went over those examples as hiring manager for company SummerWorks, that's how it goes in the professional world as well. So the reason that we're asking you all to, or the reason we're going over these things and we're asking you to form this executive summary, as it will be turned in, as it will be used, for those who are interviewing for job positions, the employer is going to get this document so they can review it, of course, and get an idea of what your skills and interests are. So just as we said, we just mentioned that this is the one part they're guaranteed to read. It's absolutely correct. They will be going through these. But for everyone, it's helpful practice to start thinking on ideas of how to translate into an actual resume. So as we all have different backgrounds, we've all had different positions if we've had employment thus far. Some, this might be a first opportunity, a first job experience of some sort. Others, you all may be old pros, but it's still good practice for everyone. Thinking a little bit deeper into who we are, into what we're capable of. It's kind of like understanding your story, right? So as we're going through who we are and we're identifying these skills, we're going to show and reveal tasks and translate those into something professional. Some I can't talk. Some examples of those are good communicators, excellent written communication, attention to detail, takes initiative, proven leader. These are some things that, I might pull from some team activities. Matter of fact, can somebody give me a quick example of what could be learned from, let's say, playing basketball? Somebody?
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. Okay. What else? What are some skills outside of, handling the ball and maybe scoring or defense or something that are practiced?
You gotta know how to take direction from others.
There it is. Good one. Good one.
Up on time.
Attendance, yes. Because if you're not there to play your position, we're down a man or a woman, right? Can I get one more, please?
You guys are way too quiet. You're killing me.
Anybody, because Shamara's about to call you out. One more, please.
Oh, let me find a name. Hold on. Let me find a name. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Heba. Is it Kadir?
Yeah. Maybe resolving conflicts, maybe with like the other team.
Yeah. Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, the conflict resolution is we win, you lose. No, good job. Just joking. Great job. Thank you.
Okay, so given those things, we can also recognize some of our responsibilities, such as watching siblings or caring for an elder, caring for anyone for that matter, walking pets, mowing the grass, doing chores around the house, or again, helping a parent, let's say, doing some admin work, things like that. This executive summary, it quickly articulates your value, such as an elevator pitch would. That's another conversation for another day. But it's, again, a summary of words, a descriptive summary as to who you are and what you're about. But it's called an elevator pitch because it's the time it takes to get from the bottom floor of a building to the top floor of a building. It's just that conversation. But it makes you stand out from a crowd. It emphasizes your strengths, highlights those transferable skills, and it conveys important messages, mainly, in my opinion, being communication and how effective you can be. So what we'll be doing in just a moment, we'll be using a brainstorming sheet on the executive summary to get you all to think about some areas, some skills, some accomplishments that we can put, there it is, that we can put on our executive summary. One thing we do want to be mindful of, grammar, spelling, great emphasis on those. Make sure our formatting is consistent just so that it looks and it flows the way we want it to. We'll be using those breakout rooms to help identify these skills. And I want to, of course, notate that it doesn't have to be a paid experience, as we kind of discussed just a moment ago. Those tasks that we may do at home or for our parents very much so apply. So at this point, I think this gives us some leeway. I guess I'll pass it to Zoe. If you're still going to put us in the rooms, if you could kind of describe that for me, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So